Time now for all things current in California politics. I'm Walt Gray, joined again this week by Rich Eisen, editor-in-chief of Capital Weekly publication. Rich, good to have you here. The California Assembly has passed a bill to protect the cannabis industry from an unprecedented tax. Is this a big deal, and how does this affect everybody?
Well, it's certainly a big deal to the cannabis industry itself. I mean, essentially, this was a long-planned escalation in the tax that these legal cannabis entities are charged. They are contending that they're having a very, very difficult time competing with the black market, right? If this tax is allowed to be implemented, then, of course, it's going to be that much harder. The people who are in opposition to this law or this bill that, if it becomes law, would keep the tax at its current rate, say that money is intended to be used for a lot of different things, including a lot of, special needs uses, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, it's not a done deal, but definitely the cannabis industry is fighting this one tooth and nail.
So you still, when you talk black market, are you talking about you got a friend, Lenny, who lives down at the corner, and Lenny's going to hook you up, and that's what's affecting the industry?
Yeah, it's already extraordinarily expensive to do this legally. I mean, we used to say, make it legal and tax the heck out of it. Well, they do.
Okay. George Skelton is sort of the godfather of political writers in the state of California. He's been the political opinion writer at LA Times for, 50 years or so? He says that Newsom is insulting voters by not funding Prop 36. Is this more along the lines of what you've also been saying, too?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, look, we talked about this recently. We all know Newsom was against it. We all know both legislative leaders were against it. We know most of the Democratic supermajority was against it. It does not matter in that regard because all of our counties, every single one of them voted in favor of it. It got more votes than anything else on the ballot, which was what George was pointing out. George is one of the great truth tellers in our industry, and he's making a very valid point here. Gavin Newsom may not like it, but the voters did, and they do, and, he has an obligation to fund it. But, it is also true, and George pointed this out, the backers of the proposition very intentionally left out naming a funding mechanism. They left it up to the lawmakers. Yeah. That was their out, and they may have bit themselves on the behind with it.
George Skelton certainly looked at as sort of nonpartisan. No matter what the party is, he's going to call you on it.
100%.
The cutting and reduction of Medi-Cal and Medicaid going forward in this state going to affect a lot of people. Won't have health insurance, SNAP. A lot of kids may not be getting food. How is this going to affect the entire state?
Well, what we might see is a dramatic loss of jobs in the health industry. For one, we're going to, we're very likely going to see a lot of job loss. Could be very much filling up our emergency rooms again with patients who, those of us who remember, I remember sitting in a ER one time with a broken arm, and I got pushed to the back of the line millions of times because people kept coming in who knew how to get seen before I did, right? That's one way. One study I saw from Berkeley indicated it might have as much as a $2 billion negative impact on the state economy. So this is going to affect everybody for sure.
A lot of dollars. Okay, Rich Eisen, always good to see you. Thank you for coming in. If you'd like to reach out to Rich, you can do so. Rich.Eisen at capitalweekly.net.